Hello, and thank you for joining me in the studio. This is the other side of the studio, which you don't see very often. I just want to bring you 5 tips. 5 tips to improve you as an artist and make you create better paintings. And this is all filmed on my iPhone and it's filmed over several days. So enjoy the filming process, and because I certainly enjoyed making this. And every time I thought of a tip, I thought, I know, I will record it on my iPhone. So if you like what you see today, please click the subscribe button. Don't forget to click that notification bell because I upload every Monday at 7:30. You get tips and hints videos like this, and you also get lessons as well. Sometimes I might sneak an odd video in on a Thursday. But without further ado, just enjoy the 5 tips to make you a better acrylic artist. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And I just wanted to quickly say that it's important that you plan your paintings very carefully. It's important that you do thumbnails. What are thumbnails, you ask? Let me show you quickly how I plan a painting. The process I go through very quickly, and it's just quick sketches. You don't have to draw in order to paint. Just remember, you don't have to draw in order to paint. So just do some thumbnail sketches, play around with different orientations, like, you know, long, thin ones and oblong ones and square ones, and just play around with the idea you've got before you take it to the canvas. So let me just show you very quickly. I just wanted to show you quickly through my sketchbook. I've been out, I've done a couple of drawings of some buildings and just a couple of quick sketches of myself because it's always handy to do that, and just use this as a reference. Just do quick sketches. So a thumbnail is basically a small box. There we are. It's just to represent a canvas or a panel board that we're going to be painting on, and just toying around with an idea I got in my head. I'm thinking of a tree, maybe a couple of mountains. Thinking about the sky. Is it going to be cloudy? Is it going to be a sun? Is it going to be a moon? What time of day is it? So I'm progressing to take that on to the stage of a portrait, which is a long, thin type of canvas that I have hanging around inside the studio. And I thought, well, can I use that? Again, sun, moon, clouds. I'm quite decided. Thinking maybe now a body of water. So what about an island with a tree on an island? So I'm going to keep the tree in there. I've decided I'm keeping the tree into this. So I'm just going to squiggle out the tree. I'm going to give the tree a little bit of like a bendy trunk, just to give it a little bit of a pleasing effect to the eye. And I'm working on another panel now. Again, keeping the same type of idea. Decided to take away the sun or moon and clouds. Again, using the tree. So I thought, yeah, let's have a look at the tree. What can I do with the tree? If there's a tree in the painting, I'm going to put some sort of a bushy type of tree. not like a conifer or a pine tree or something like that, just like an ordinary type of tree. I want the trunk to have a little bit of a bend to it. And maybe I'm going to put it on an island or something like that. And I've seen something similar to this on Red Dead Redemption 2, because I am an avid PS4 player and I quite like the RD2 game, and I've seen something similar to this where I picked up some treasure. So I thought, why not try and incorporate that into a painting and just change things around a little bit. So it's going to be in a body of water, so obviously it's going to need some reflections, and that's exactly what I'm decided to work on now. And I'm going to use that in the 3 panels. So that's very quickly what a thumbnail is. It's just basically an idea that you put down onto paper, and then you can take that to canvas and, well, paint to your heart's content, as they say. It certainly does. In this tip, I'm actually doing my daily walk down the public park with my dog Molly. So what I want to try and show you here is just get outside. If you can't draw, don't worry about it. If you don't like painting outdoors, don't worry about it. we've all got cameras in our pockets called phones. Just snap some pictures and stand and just look at any scenery really. If just play with your camera and take photographs at different angles, look for perspectives, look for leading lines, look for different tones and stuff in the grass. Be aware of your environment and use that to your advantage. That's what I suggest. And squint when you look at something. If you're looking at a tree like I'm looking at now, just squint and you'll see all the tones of colour. It's a very good technique actually, and it's been used for centuries, is actually squinting at something, putting something out of focus and seeing all the different tones and just painting those tones. Don't worry about painting details. So using these tips in conjunction with all the others, it's going to make you a better artist and a better painter, whatever you want to call yourself. And I think it's very important that we put all these skills together along with the other skills we've learned. So and don't be afraid to pick up a pencil sometimes and just do a quick sketch. Thumbnails are important, as you know, I mentioned earlier. Hello and welcome to the studio. So in this tip I want to be talking about canvases and canvas panels and sizes. Now a lot of beginners make a mistake of painting too big too quickly. So to paint a canvas or a canvas panel or a board or whatever you want to paint on in such a big size like this, is you're gonna have to have the skills in order to do that. So I wouldn't start on a big canvas. What I would tend to do is start on a small canvas, and you notice that a lot of my actual paintings that I do as lessons on YouTube are normally done on 10x8s like this, and sometimes I increase the size, but normally I'll work on a 10x8 because I find these canvas boards are very universal and great for beginners because you don't have to think too much. In order to get a lot of detail and texture in there, you just got to be loose and quick, and it speaks for itself. But when you're working on a bigger canvas, you concentrate, and there's a lot of detail that needs to be put in there really. And as I said, these canvas panels are cheap enough. You can pick them up in any art store. I will be telling you how these are made, the problems you can get with them, and how you can repair these things, but that's going to be done in a later video. But for the meantime, you can see there's one I drew out there ready for Christmas, which I never actually got round to doing, so you might see that one next year. But as I said, if you're looking at these videos, there's this one, and obviously the one with the swan. They're actually in the iCards if you want to go and have a look at those. But you can see there's still a lot of detail in there, but I worked very, very loosely, and it just gives you the ability to work quicker and looser than working on a bigger scale. And you can also change it around. This particular canvas then I got here is a 12x8, so it's just slightly bigger. My camera's wobbling. Just slightly bigger. But I mean, you know, play around with portraiture, play around with landscape, and just use everything to its advantage. What size is this one? There's another little 10x8 that I did. There's a little moo cow. That's in the iCards as well if you want to look at that. That's something I've done for the kids. But you can see a lot of my YouTube lessons, especially the way I teach, is always done, or normally always done, on smaller canvases. This one is a 10x12. So all these canvases are small enough to enable the beginner to get in there, to manipulate paint, to maneuver paint, to understand depth, to understand composition. You can play around with different compositions, as I said, portrait or landscape, where things are positioned within the painting. And when you come to paint something as big as this, there you go, then you can see that everything you learned from those small canvases you can put into a bigger painting like this, and it's much easier for you. Although it is easier to paint it bigger because you can put a lot more detail in, it's all the work that goes into producing something like this basically comes from something like that. So get the techniques and the basics down there, and then you can transfer everything you know into a larger canvas. So my advice, paint small and work your way up to a bigger canvas. Nice. So I'm just taking a break from this particular painting, and I wanted to share another tip with you that I was just thinking about now as I was working hard in the studio, painting away the stress of everyday life. A lot of people get inundated with the amount of brushes they think they need. Brushes. As a beginner, that's all you can think about. What brush does this? What brush makes that mark? What brush makes this mark? Which are the best brushes? Which are the best brands of brushes? And these things going through your mind confuse you and stop you from painting. So you need to relax and just pick a good selection of brushes. There's lessons in the iCards about my own particular brush selections. I'm not going to go through it today, but you don't need a vast variety of brushes like I've got. As I can say, I got brushes for brushes. These brushes there, these particular brushes that you can see there, are the ones that I use all the time for lessons on YouTube and also in my own private paintings as well. But that doesn't mean that I haven't got any other brushes. I got brushes over there, and I got brushes for brushes, and I've got more brushes, and I've even got more brushes. I've got toothbrushes, I've got paint brushes, I've got ordinary household paint brushes, I've got makeup brushes, I've got brushes made out of brushes. I've got a little Welsh dragon, there you go. And I got brushes I sell. What I'm trying to say is you don't need a wide variety of brushes. So look at the lesson I've got there in the iCard, and you decide what brushes are best for you. And that's going to take a lot of pressure away from yourself when you begin to paint. So just find half a dozen or so brushes which will do the job that you want them to do, and then just practice with those. It's the only advice I can give you at this particular moment in time. Right, I'm going to get back to this painting now, and I'm going to think of another tip. Hello, right, so just finished this painting of this wonderful lock. I don't know when that's going to be coming out, but it should be in the iCards if you want to press the iCards for there. I want to talk about paints. Another thing that we get inundated with is the amount of paints that we think we need as beginners, and it can be very confusing. What brand, what's the best acrylics? In my opinion, there's no good acrylics or bad acrylics. That are just acrylics, and there's just like a student range or a professional range. That's it. So you will need to find a good student range of paints. If I remember, I'll put a link in the descriptions or an iCard there, which will put you into a playlist where I can show you my own particular selection of paints. But in the meantime, I'm just going to very quickly show you, and I want to say about limited palettes as well. Just get a red, a blue, and a yellow, some loads of white, because you'll always use twice as much white as you think you're going to need. A little bit of black, a couple of browns like a burnt umber or a raw sienna, and just limit the amount of colours that you've got, because what I suggest you do is mix, and mix. I've got a good book here that I'll share with you, which it might be a good idea for you to see if you can get hold of it, and I'll put the ISBN number, etc. on it. And these are the books that I use for colour matching. This is the colour mixing book. It's 1500 colour mixing recipes, and it's by William F. Powell. And there's no relation, and I can tell you, no relations to me, even though I am a Powell, but no relation. But I seen F. Powell, and I thought, yeah, I'll give that a try. But it's a fantastic book, so I suggest you go along to Amazon and have a look for this book, and just give it a try, see what you can come up with. But there's so much information in this particular book. I'll put the ISBN number on screen for you, but there's the ISBN number for you if you want to write that down. All it is, you need to go along to Amazon, type in that ISBN number, which is an International Serious Bus number, and that's unique to this book. And all you need to do is search for that and just press buy now. So give it a shot. That's what I use in the studio, but you can see I got loads of paints here, loads of paints, and these are a lot of the paints there that I've got in stock, which I use throughout the YouTube lessons that I do. I also make my own paints. I got my own range of paints now. These are mainly used for my own personal work, because I got a lot more control over paints, how they work, how they flow, how they dry. That's my own personal choice. But I do sell these. I do sell these on the website. What I'm saying is, you pick the paints that suit you. You might like Winsor & Newton. You might like the Galleria range. You might like the Golden. You might like Liquitex. And there's so many out there. So many out there that could work for you. But you need to find the range that works for you. I would suggest a student range, or you've got the professional range like this. These are very expensive, and I wouldn't use these for practice. I would use something like a Liquitex Basics, or something like a Galleria Winsor & Newton Artist range there, which is the student range, the student range, something like that. Something that's middle of the road and something you can afford. There's other manufacturers out there which I won't go into, but as I said, just to reiterate, I do actually make my own range of paints. These are for sale on the website www.clive5art.co.uk, and I use them mainly for myself because I mix them to my own needs. I got ones that won't dry out so fast. I got ones that'll dry really quickly. I've got mixes that have got a lot of chalk in them, and I'm not going to get technical, but what I'm just saying is just pick the paints that you think that is suited for you and that's suited for your finances. And don't forget to invest in a little book like this. Use a limited palette, as I said, a red, a yellow, a blue, loads of white, some black, a burnt umber, rose sienna, yellow ochre, something like that. You find out the limited palette that suits you, and colour mix your own colours, mix your own purples, mix your own greens, mix your own oranges. You don't need to buy all these paints. Save yourself some money and have fun in the studio with Clive.